Afternoon. Thank you, Olivia. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today, especially as you celebrate the 50th anniversary. A few years after Head Start launched nationally, a class was established in my hometown of Hinton, West Virginia. In a rural town like Hinton, Head Start was one of the only early educational opportunities, and so it meant a lot to families then, and it means a lot to families now. In preparation for today's speech, I wanted to hear from someone who remembers that time 50 years ago a little better than a preschooler. So I had my mom reach out to my Head Start teacher, Rita Pack. You got it. I'm a Head Start kid. Didn't even tell my team. So at the time, it was a summer program, and this was probably before they switched to the full school year. And we met in what would eventually be my 5th grade classroom at Central Elementary School. And I do remember we hatched chickens. For those of you who are old enough to remember the little incubators, they had the eggs, the incubators. And I will tell you what, it started my love of science. And also in my Head Start class, in terms of my memories, my friends Victor Morgan, Christy Gore. Christy was my best friend and in my wedding. But like you all, thanks to an excellent teacher, her name is Rita Pack, I got a head start. I learned to love learning. And that's what I do today. That's what I get to do every day at this great department I get to work at. I get to love the learning and then act on that learning. And so my mom called Rita, and what Rita said was, she was remembering, and she said, oh, yeah, I remember Sylvia. She came in every day and she said, what are we going to learn? For anyone who knows me, they won't be surprised that I was anxious to get started every single day. And my foundation is a foundation that all children in our country can and should have. As a mom of a 5 and a 7-year-old, it's fascinating to watch their minds develop and grow. Maybe not always fascinating. And they are like little scientists. They're cataloging, they're exploring, they're testing theories. My 5-year-old is testing boundaries. And as you all probably know, by 2 years of age, a toddler's cerebral cortex contains well over 100 trillion synapses. From the ages of 3 to 9, a child's brain activity is twice the level of an adult. I will tell you, I feel that every night when I am home and we're reading another story. With all that development going on, we know that education and support during this critical development time can determine their success for years to come. We've all heard about the word gap. Children living in poverty hear 30 million fewer words by the time they are 4 years old than their more affluent peers. We know that less than half of poor children go to school prepared with the skills they need to be ready to learn. They are 10 times likely to drop out in high school. Children's brains are shaped by the chronic stress of poverty and parents struggling to fit in time for good night moon when they're working a second shift. Low-income parents often feel defeated by their situation. One study found that parents living in poverty underestimate their power to influence their children's cognitive development by more than 50%. That's why Head Start and Early Head Start are crucial to fighting poverty and building up our next generation. They were founded on the principles that education is the door to opportunity, that poverty doesn't have to be a family legacy, and that everyone, no matter their background, deserves a shot at a productive life. That is the core of the American dream. President Kennedy said, "Children are the world's most valuable resource, and its best hope for the future. There is no better investment that we can make than investing in the minds of our children. Since it was created in 1965, like Head Start, I will be 50 this year, Head Start has provided more than 32 million children with comprehensive learning experiences, including school readiness, health, mental health, nutrition, and family engagement supports. This year alone, that number will be over 1 million. Thanks to the work of all of you that you do every day, children's lives are changed. Millions of kids will learn to love reading and graduate on time. They will grow up a little more secure, stay out of trouble with the law, and find jobs. The work doesn't just help those children, it strengthens their family and our entire community. As you all know, Head Start is the original two-generation program, as Olivia just mentioned, working with parents to create more opportunities for children. Programs help build their capacity as caretakers and advocates, working together to create and implement family plans and support parents' ability to work. Head Start also has a long history of bolstering the field of early learning. Using the best and latest developmental research, you all provide the guidance on both what and how to best teach children and partner with their families. And by building a stable workforce of high-quality early educators, 71% of whom have BA degrees, children and families throughout the community benefit. Stronger students, families, and teachers have an impact on all of us. A RAND research brief found that early childhood interventions generate a return on society ranging from $1.80 to $17.07 for each dollar spent. And Head Start continues to grow and improve. We recently awarded the last of the $500 million that Congress budgeted for new early Head Start child care partnership grants. 276 new grants have been awarded. Those grants will serve over 30,000 new early Head Start children. This spring, we will issue the revised Head Start performance standards for public comment. These revised standards are rooted in research and will improve classroom quality and program transparency. We also think they will make it a little easier to manage programs by eliminating out-of-date requirements. And I am excited to announce to you all today that we have found a new director for the Office of Head Start. Blanca Enriquez. Blanca's here with us today. Blanca, can you wave? Thank you. Blanca has almost 30 years of Head Start leadership experience and has headed up Region 19's office in El Paso since 1991. Under her watch, the number of children they serve has more than tripled, and their program has been recognized both locally and nationally. She's a strong leader, and I know she's going to be a great addition to our team here in Washington. Welcome, Blanca. As we look to the next 50 years, we can see that the need for Head Start is greater than ever. Today, more than 16 million children in the United States, 22% of all children, live in families with incomes that are below the federal poverty level. And that includes a disproportionate amount of children of color, nearly 40% of Black children and 35% of Hispanic children. Many families living above the poverty level are still struggling. Research shows that, on average, families need an income of about twice the federal poverty level just to make ends meet. 41% of the nation's children live in low-income families. In light of these facts, and on this historic anniversary, now is the time to rededicate ourselves to the cause of a Head Start for those children who need it most. The administration knows how important early education and quality childcare is to the future success of our nation's children, and that's reflected in the President's budget. Our proposal requests over $10 billion to provide more children with more intensive, high-quality Head Start services. That is over $1.5 billion over this year's enacted budget and nearly a $4 billion increase since President Obama took office. Head Start does not need to be a partisan issue. The last Head Start reauthorization passed after an extended discussion and on a bipartisan basis. I know that Republicans like Chairman Lamar Alexander are deeply interested in early childhood issues. Just last year, he worked with Senator Murray and Senator Mikulski and several others on a bipartisan reauthorization of child care programs. Unfortunately, the House and Senate budget proposals fail to keep this promise to our children. We're concerned about current proposals to cut funding. We estimate that it would mean 35,000 fewer kids would be in Head Start than under our budget in 2016, and 157,000 fewer children in 2017. And they also don't include the funding for proposals for full day and full year programs that research shows leads to better outcomes. That's a huge loss for our children, for their families, and our communities. I want all of you to know that we are committed to fight for these funds, to keep this program strong. This work is too important. When President Johnson established the Head Start program, he declared, "The bread that is cast upon these waters will surely return many thousandfold." We see that return every day. If it's the spark in a boy's face when he discovers his love of painting, it's the dad's smile when he reads to his daughter, and for me, it's teaching my kids to love learning the way Rita Pack taught me. You all keep the American dream alive, and a very big thank you from this Head Start kit.